Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news that IMF is downgrading China's growth outlook. But first, American retail sales were unexpectedly flat in July as locals cut back on discretionary spending, pointing to a moderation in consumption. There have been expectations of a sharp pickup in economic growth in the third quarter, but this data casts doubt on that. China will use its stricter enforcement of environmental, safety and energy efficiency standards, as well as tougher credit controls, to help fight overcapacity in key industry sectors. Firms that fail to comply with new energy efficiency targets will be given 6 months to rectify and would be closed if they fail to make progress. Those that continue to exceed air and water pollution standards would be fined on a daily basis and in serious cases ordered to be shut. China's economic growth is expected to decelerate to below 6% in 2020, partly due to structural problems such as rising corporate debt and structural excess capacity in the steel and coal sectors. That's what the IMF reported. Growth in China's real gross domestic product is projected to slow from 6.9% in 2015 to 5.9% in 2020 and 5.8% the following year. That's what the IMF said in its annual assessment of the Chinese economy. Medium-term outlook is clouded by continued resource misallocation, high and rising corporate debt, structural excess capacity, and the increasingly large, opaque and interconnected financial sector, the report said. In addition, they said almost half the shadow banking products that have fueled China's credit boom carry elevated risks of default. However, that slowdown may come faster than the IMF thinks. Almost all new mainland loans last month were taken out for home mortgages, while lending to corporate borrowers actually shrank, according to central bank data released over the weekend. This is an early sign of a Chinese balance sheet recession. When corporates stop borrowing or stop getting credit, that's not a good thing, a Hong Kong analyst said after the data was released. In New York, the US Treasury 10-year yield was a little lower at 1.51%. The US benchmark oil price is still rising and now just under $44.50 a barrel, and the Brent benchmark is just under $47 a barrel. In response, there's been yet another rise in the number of US working oil rigs brought back into production, and that is now 7 weeks of consecutive rises, 12 of the last 13. The gold price is down by about $15 and now at $1,335 an ounce. And speaking of commodities, we will have the next dairy auction this week, and market chatter is that it could be another good one, and showing gains exceeding the 6.6% increase we saw 2 weeks ago. The Kiwi dollar will start the week at 72 US cents, at 94.1 Aussie cents, and at 64.5 euro cents. The TWI is at 75.2. After the March OCR cut, the TWI rose, but back then it was only 71.2. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.